Hey, I'm Joe and you're watching The Philosophy of Game Mastering. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how you, as a game master, can gain inspiration from unlikely places. Let me tell you a story. Yesterday I was driving in my car and I was stopped at a red light. Looking around, I noticed on the corner a McDonald's. And then something hit me when I saw the logo. There was a huge sign with the M on it, and I realized the archways look a lot like a cave entrance on a D&D map. That gave me inspiration to pull out my old version from 1980 of Gary Gygax's B2, The Keep on the Borderlands, which has a map called the Caves of Chaos. Then I decided maybe there are other corporate logos that can inspire me in my game. So I started thinking, what other logos are there? After that flash of inspiration came from the McDonald's logo, I drove home and I started to think about other logos, corporate logos, that could inspire me in my game. And this is what I want to share with you today, how you can find inspiration from pretty much anywhere, even when you're multitasking. Yeah, you could be taking a walk, you could be in the shower, you could be washing dishes, you could be folding laundry, it doesn't matter. Inspiration comes from everywhere when you're a game master. I mean, you can't get it out of your system sometimes, it just hits you. I thought about a few other logos that I want to share with you. The first one is the FedEx logo. Now, I don't know if you've actually really looked at the FedEx logo, but it uses what's called negative space. And in the middle of the FedEx logo, in the white area, is an arrow pointing to the right. And it's supposed to represent, transportation and how FedEx keeps moving your packages to where they need to go. What does that mean? It's technically hidden. It's not very obvious. And, if you've never looked at the FedEx logo, check it out. So then I thought, well, that hidden aspect reminded me of maybe having some sort of secret cult in my campaign. Maybe it's some lizard men who hide underground and come out at night and attack the town and the village. And maybe they have some sort of cryptic logo to communicate with the surface dwellers. Maybe that symbol has some sort of hidden meaning in it. So that was another corporate logo that gave me some inspiration. The last logo I want to talk about, and it's the Apple logo. So the Apple logo was a little bit more complex for me because at the time I was trying to think of a unique NPC that could somehow provide a clue to the players, but in a way that's a little bit obfuscated. Now follow along with me here. So the Apple logo to me meant, okay, well, I'll just have an NPC who's sort of a mundane character. Maybe he's an Apple merchant and has an Apple cart. Okay, that sounds pretty typical. But how do I bring inspiration to this character? Like, what about him is so unique? And then I realized, well, he needs a unique name for his business. And so I called it the Twisted Branch. And then it needed a slogan. And the slogan I came up with was selling deliciousness from east to west. And there's a reason for it. This goes back to the video I made on player agency. And I don't like disrupting player agency. I think it's really important that players have agency. But there are ways as a DM where you can bring inspiration and make your NPCs feel more alive, still allowing player agency, but then also adding an aspect of roleplay. And this is what I call immersive roleplay, meaning sometimes when you have an NPC, your players think, well, we're going to have to interact with this person for whatever reason because the game master put them there, right? I don't like my NPCs to feel sort of faceless or, boring. So what I did was I gave this merchant a name. His name is Eric, the apple salesman. And he has a backstory, which I won't go into, but he had a father who taught him how to sell apples, grow and sell apples. So one day the characters enter town and they realize that Eric looks like he has a cart, but he doesn't live in the area. So he must use some of the roads that go north and south. So the characters approach him for some information and also to buy some apples. Through the conversation, through the role play, they discover that Eric always uses the east road, not the west road, to avoid bandits. But there's something they don't know about Eric that I'll tell you about in a minute. So the characters, knowing this intel, tell the game master, we're going to use the east road to avoid the bandits. The game master says, great. A few minutes later, guess what? The GM is saying, roll initiative. There's some bandits. What? And the players are freaking out. They're like, what are you talking about? We got intel from Eric saying that the east road was the safe road. So we took the west road. Now you're telling us there's bandits there too? What is this, some sort of quantum ogre? And the game master is like, roll initiative. Later, after the encounter, after the session. The players realize that maybe they didn't get all the intel from Eric that they could. The next day, they go back to talk to Eric, and they start asking about his apple sales. They start talking about why he sells apples. And they're also curious about his slogan, selling deliciousness from east to west. What they find out is that Eric mixes up left and right and east and west all of the time. So when he told the characters he takes the east road, he actually meant the west road. Now, this sounds a little peculiar, right? But Eric is an NPC. NPCs have flaws and flukes. The characters, had they roleplayed more the initial moment, they would have probably found this out and realized that Eric mixing up east and west meant they should still take the east road. What do you think? Do you think this is a dishonest way to be a game master? Or do you think it actually really does add sort of color and depth to the story? I want to know. Please let me know in the comments. Also, the next time you're out and about, look at some corporate logos and see what you can find that inspires your game. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.